Advertisers use what's called appeals in their advertising. These are used as just the right hook because it allows persuasion to occur. It allows that persuasion to happen. It also creates a positive image and mindset about those who like the product or service. So here you have a definition of what are appeals. They're persuasive pressures that stimulate a person to buy a product or service by speaking to an individual's needs, interests, or wants. Think about fear appeal. All the things we don't want. We don't want cellulite. We don't want wrinkles. We don't want bad breath or funny-looking teeth. You all know about products used to remedy these ailments. These attacks on body image are multiplying and being reinforced by things like reality. Fear appeals focus on the negative outcomes that can happen because of an action or an inaction. Advertisers use fear appeals to promote an immediate behavior change, such as eating healthier or not smoking. Another fear tactic involves isolation. People will purchase a product to avoid isolation from others because of bad hygiene. Deodorant and toothpaste ads often employ this tactic. Government agencies appeal to an individual's fear of death or incarceration to prevent drinking and driving. Fear appeals work when the recommended action is specific, effective, and plausible. Humor appeals that make consumers laugh and create an emotional link with the product. A well-executed humor appeal enhances recollection, evaluation, and the intent to purchase the product. Advertisers link the product with the humor. For example, a humorous insurance ad hits the mark when the humor shows the consumer why having insurance is beneficial. Using humor at the expense of one group may lead to resentment. Senior citizens may resent a product that portrays them as grumpy, while women may refuse to purchase a product that portrays them as overbearing. Humorous ads work best with established and commonly purchased products, such as cell phones, fast food, alcoholic beverages, and cleaning products. Here's a Mr. Clean ad that was first introduced as a Super Bowl ad.
Got what you want, got what you need. Live your dream, but be your fantasy.
Sarah? Sarah? Clean enough?
Rational or logical appeals focus on the consumer's need for practicality and functionality in a product. Advertisers relay this message by focusing on product features and cost. These ads tell consumers the benefits associated with the purchase of a product. The advertiser then provides proof to back up the claims. An automobile advertisement focuses on gas efficiency, mileage, and prices to reach consumers who want a cost-effective, reliable vehicle. Household appliance manufacturers may place emphasis on features that lower home utility costs and protect the environment. Printed and business-to-business advertisements are better suited for rational appeals. Sex appeals capture attention, but seldom promote product consumption. Effective sex appeal ads convey a specific message to the target demographic group. Beer advertisers often use sex appeal to promote their product to men. The typical scene involves several young, average-looking men in a bar. The men purchase the beer and gain the attention of an attractive young woman. Fragrance products use sex appeal to convey romance to women by indicating the use of the product will help her find the man of her dreams. Generally done by showing the woman spraying the fragrance and then capturing the attention of an attractive male who passes her on the street. Overly overt images subtract from the overall message the advertiser is trying to convey. Who can forget Yo quiero Taco Bell? Where's the beef? The Energizer Bunny. You deserve a break today. And got milk? Pop culture and advertising have effects on each other. We also don't realize when these ads influence our everyday purchase decisions, from the brand of laundry detergent we buy to the type of morning coffee we pick up before starting the day. Even more so, people we know who are enthusiastic about these brands influence us to consume more. Although many scoffed at Miley Cyrus in 2013, the seemingly overnight rebranding of herself landed her a Marc Jacobs ad campaign and a title as Mac's iconic Viva Glam campaign spokesperson for the next 2 years. Even McDonald's established itself in the marketing world back in 2014 as a much more than just a fast food chain. These are some examples of how pop culture has a profound impact on advertising. Let's just hope this love affair only continues to grow. One fad after another reinforced by celebrity endorsements. The diet craze began with low fat, low calorie, low carb, and what are the right fats and what are the wrong fats. Now there's a link here if you'd like to read an article. It's a very interesting article. Here's a picture here when Marie Osmond decided she was going to be the spokesperson for Nutrisystem. And she got millions of women involved in this weight loss program. Was it successful for them? I don't know. But it did get them in the door, and that's what the goal was. We're going to bring this celebrity person in. Now, most people in my generation know who Marie Osmond is, or if you saw her on Dancing with the Stars, you might know who she is. But she's done extremely well with her weight loss, whether it's all through this program or not. We'll never know, but it certainly looks that way. Advertising impacts fashion. In our consumer society, clothes are not there to provide protection against the elements. They're there to project a style and an image. Marketeers through advertising manipulate fashion so consumers will purchase new clothes long before their old clothes wear out. I don't know about you, but I have a closet that's overflowing with things that I bought because they were in style. In a consumer culture, we define our self-worth and personal identity by the products we own and wear, rather than who we are. You can't get through junior high wearing the wrong clothes and the wrong brands. This is the influence of advertising. That's why stars get bling, which is free products. And these stars become walking ads. Look at the diamonds and necklaces and gowns that are worn by the stars to the Academy Awards or the other award shows. Generally, they don't own those clothes. A designer has paid them to wear their clothes or wear their jewelry. Do ads cause people to buy products they don't really want? No. Do ads cause people to buy products they don't need? Oh yeah, all the time. Some argue that advertisers are hidden persuaders who use psychological research and motivational analysis to sell consumers things they really don't need and they really don't want. When we think about cultural or political impact of advertising, these can be very manipulative. I'm sure you've seen that because anytime an election is coming up, they're all over the television, they're all over the side of buses, we get junk mail all the time. But they can cause what's called cognitive dissonance because there's so much information, we don't know what's true. So they can be very manipulative, and they can also have a control over the medium or the media they use. They can also sort of mess with us through general complaints. There's economic pressure of political ads and cultural ads as well. Advertising is a political and social message. So I'm going to ask, which media do you trust? Is some advertising more credible than another? What types of political ads do you think are effective? There's different appeals that are used, and there's different types. We have issue-oriented. We're going to talk about the climate change. There's attack ads, which will say that this person made this promise and it didn't come through, or this person and some type of totally irrelevant thing they did. We can get where they get personal also. Then we have the informative ads. Vote for me because I'm going to do this for you. Then we have those that try to set a certain mood and put us in a certain frame of mind. And what types of political ads truly contribute to our democracy? Here's two ads that I'd like to show you. The first one was used as a presidential campaign in 1964 by Lyndon Johnson. And I want you to know that in 1964, the world was in fear of nuclear war. Anything that suggested that might happen was an issue. So this was a sort of a subliminal attack ad against Lyndon Johnson. On September 7th, 1964, a 60-second TV ad changed American politics forever. A 3-year-old girl in a simple dress counted as she plucked daisy petals in a sun-dappled field. Her words were supplanted by a mission control countdown followed by a massive nuclear blast in a classic mushroom shape. The message was clear, if only implicit. Presidential candidate Barry Goldwater was a genocidal maniac who threatened the world's future with nuclear war. 2 months later, President Lyndon Johnson won easily, and the emotional political attack ad, visceral, terrifying, and risky, was made.
2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 8, 9,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. These are the stakes. To make a world in which all of God's children can live, or to go into the dark. We must either love each other, or we must die.
Vote for President Johnson on November 3rd. The stakes are too high for you to stay home.
The second video that I'll show you was an ad that was done in 2010 by then California Senate candidate Carly Fiorina. It was an attack ad on Barbara Boxer.
No one knows from whence it came. Legend goes that it began innocently enough. Local politics, the warm bask of attention, the occasional flicker of a television light. It was a heady time, but then it grew. It wanted more. Without benefit of foresight, we sent Barbara Boxer to the Senate, where she took root for the next long 18 years, basking in the glow, becoming more and more bitterly partisan, while she became shockingly less and less effective. Soon, her elitist self-image grew so that it overwhelmed the capital and drifted west. Westward, to tell us all how to live our lives. Why our hard-earned money should go to her to spend. She quit working for us and worked only for herself. Raising job-killing taxes, time and time again. While she tells us she's the friend of the taxpayer.
I like to cut taxes for the middle class.
But she's voted to raise taxes on things like Social Security benefits and gasoline. And voted 11 times against removing the marriage penalty tax, proclaiming her cap-and-trade bill would clean the environment, indifferent that it would take already painful jobless numbers and make them dramatically worse.
That's where you'll have a little bit of an increase in electricity prices.
Even President Obama says electricity rates will skyrocket. And the Wall Street Journal says it is likely to be the biggest tax increase in American history, proclaiming that her vote for the massive spending bailouts actually stimulated the economy, instead of just dumping our money down a dark, dark hole.
To stimulate the economy, you do increase government spending.
But since this stimulus, unemployment in California has climbed to over 12%, the worst since the end of the Great Depression. Our national debt is now over $12 trillion. Homegrown terrorists opening fire and killing soldiers on an American military base. Foreign terrorists trying to blow up an American airplane on Christmas Day. And what does Barbara Boxer see as a national security threat?
One of the very important national security issues we face, frankly, is climate change.
What? Preaching her liberal, partisan, elitist ways on every issue, though hardly any on either side of the aisle agreed. She talked and talked and got nothing done.
Advertising has changed over the last decade or so, and we no longer really see many ads that promote smoking or drinking or recreational drugs because the FTC has really started nailing down those and removing that advertising, because back then it had proven that it not only affected bad habits, it changed the overall health of society, particularly with smoking, teenage drinking and sex, eating disorders such as anorexia and bulimia. So today the FTC pays particular attention to ads aimed at children because they might be more vulnerable to deception. The Federal Trade Commission is the regulation agency that controls advertising, particularly truth in advertising. And what they look for is advertising has to be truthful and it can't be deceptive. And it must have evidence to back up any claims. Advertisers also cannot be unfair. So the tests they use for these are, is this going to affect a reasonable consumer? Are there any implied claims that are untrue, or what they call express claims? And does it do what it says and doesn't say? The debate over banning ads strikes at the heart of media effects research. How much does it really affect our attitudes and behaviors in persuading us to purchase products the science has shown can be unhealthy or addicting? Let's specifically address tobacco and alcohol products. One of the most successful ad campaigns in history was the Marlboro Man. It changed the image of what was considered a, quote, ladies' cigarette to one of the most macho tobacco brands in the U.S. The Marlboro Man projects a rugged individualist, macho, tough, light up and be cool. Yet even though cigarettes have the warning label on every pack, Marlboro is still one of the most popular cigarettes. Specific types of ads and how the FTC regulates, yet there's also a level of self-regulation by the medium where the ad is running. Alcohol is also regulated by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, or the ATF. A lot of television networks and broadcasters only allow beer commercials. They don't allow distilled spirits. Alcohol ads cannot target underage consumers, and some publications and broadcasters place restrictions on where or when these ads can run. With tobacco, that's the most highly regulated type of advertising. Federal law prohibits advertising of most tobacco products on radio, TV, or other forms of electronic media, or those that are regulated by the FCC. The FTC enforces warning labels regarding print and broadcast advertising. Due to pressure and criticism, most tobacco manufacturers refrain from advertising. There's always a trade-off. Advertising is what pays for media. It's that revenue stream that is needed to sustain that channel or that type of What are the trade-offs, even if advertising is negative? Advertising is what pays for mass media. If you don't like advertising, pay for cable, satellite radio, or stream what you like. Viewers get shows, advertisers get viewers. How do we determine consumer types? Well, let's talk a little marketing research here. You've heard these terms before, and I've told you you'll hear them again. Here's an example. We have demographics, or things we can measure. We have geographics, which is the proximity of the consumer. Then we have psychographics, which are I'm going to say lifestyles, hobbies, and activities, but also their views and their morals. What are the effects? Makes people aware of the products. Generally gives you some type of pricing information. Or it's going to say we're the low cost, we're the high end, things like that. So it may not give you an exact number, but it'll give you that kind of category that it's in. It gives you quality information about the product, helps you identify with it, and how it contributes to our consumer society. It creates a demand for a product. And when we talk about price info, that's usually seen in print advertising. Advertising is all over the world, and the format and the styles are the same. And last but not least, I had a Nova when I was growing up. It was my favorite car. It was fast. I had an SS just like right here, 3-speed on the floor. It was my pride and joy. Now, the best-selling urban legend about advertising is that Chevy Nova would not sell in Mexico because in Spanish it sort of translates to "it won't go." Probably not quite the meaning Chevy wanted to make when it rolled out this car to the and it's, I say, the Spanish market, the Hispanic market. But this was a rumor for years and years and years, and yet some deny and say that's not true, but the numbers show sort of that it is. So thank you for your time, and I will talk more about logical fallacies and how to read ads next lecture.